Breaking news now. On French, Iranian, and British elections. Werewolf predicted a week ago that the first-round results were insufficient to brand Emmanuel Macron's surprise election call a terrible failure and a humiliating defeat. In fact, the far-right lost big. It finished third in the pivotal second round despite media hype that the far-right could win a majority in France's 577-seat National Assembly. The left-wing coalition and Macron, their odd second-round ally, won. No major bloc, the left, Macron's centrist bloc, or the far-right, will have 289 MPs to form an absolute majority. The left alliance will likely be the largest bloc when President Macron's Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal, resigns on July 18. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the extreme LFI group leader, has already ruled himself out as a PM candidate and insisted that the LFI program must be fully implemented. In a hung parliament, where no bloc can pass legislation alone, negotiated concessions will be necessary for any new administration to overcome no-confidence motions. Macron sees hope. Second-round projections show the Moderate Socialist Party, PS, doubling its left coalition presence from 31 to 60 to 64 MPs. The radical, LFI, faction will remain larger, with 73 to 80 MPs. Macron's centrists, the PS, the Greens, and the moderate right wing of mainstream conservative Les Republicains might form a working majority and enact a skeletal legislative program. These harsh truths will emerge after today's elation over the larger evil, a hard right absolute majority's loss. Iran moderates again. Talking about profoundly polarized societies, Iran chose a moderate reformer president for the third time in 25 years. Unfortunately, all of these reformers have had to work within the hard lines set by the aging supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and his advisors while juggling other forces in the religious establishment and military, which have major economic stakes in Iran. Previous reformat presidents include Mohammad Khatami, 1997 to 2005, and Hassan Rouhani, 2013 to 2021. The military/religious elites hampered both. After the hardliners stifled the electorate, the newly elected President Mehdi Pezeshkian will confront the same challenges. However, this Tehran Times table comparing Pezeshkian's and his hardline opponents' goals is worth considering. As Rouhani did, Pezeshkian has supported the right to demonstrate, women's rights, and good political and economic engagement with the West. Despite advocating for economic liberalization, he opposed privatization of vital public services, such as healthcare. I am extremely opposed to the morality police since this is a disgrace for women. The marginalization of women and ethnic groups contributes to low election turnout, he said. They wonder why they should join if their rights and requests are ignored. Finally, protest rights. Protesting is our right and requires no permission. Why would people act impulsively and cause unrest while protesting? Instead of blaming and banishing students and intellectuals, we should listen. All of these impulses might give a highly unpopular tyranny a veneer of compassionate legitimacy. However, they reflect many Iranians' strong beliefs. Iran is not an evil monolith. The decrepit, murderously corrupt regime, not the Iranian people, is the enemy in this unstable, divided society. Ordinary Iranians deserve better. Making Britain great again. The Conservative vote collapsed to Reform and the Liberal Democrats, and the SNP vote in Scotland self-destructed, giving Labour a huge victory margin. The Spectator's columnist called Keir Starmer's victory a Potemkin landslide, and he was right. Injustices of the outdated first-past-the-post political system exacerbated both problems. Amazing details. No amount of retaliation against the Tory government swayed voters. Instead, 14 years of Tory misrule and a weak Labour leader may have led to the lowest voter participation since 1923. Since the FPP method is unfair, Labour won only 34% of the vote but 64% of the seats. Under Starmer, Labour's vote percentage was far lower than Corbyn's 40% in 2017. FPP abnormalities persisted. Nigel Farage's Reform Party garnered 14% of the vote but only 4 seats, 1% of the total. In contrast, the Liberal Democrats got 71 seats, or 11% of the total, despite receiving 12% of the vote. Even though the Greens garnered 7% of the vote, half of the Reform total, they won equivalent seats. These results are unfathomable to MMP-accustomed New Zealanders. Despite Starmer's large majority, the Labour Party has not earned a popular mandate like the landslide majority headlines claim. Effects follow. Tory misrule has destroyed Britain's social services, but Starmer has tied himself up, just like Labour did in New Zealand, by promising not to raise taxes to fund the repairs. Thus, Labour's political honeymoon may be brief. Footnote 1. Reform cannibalized the Tory support so much that Nigel Farage's party placed second in 93 Labour won seats. However, 1/3 of Reform voters said they would not have voted Conservative even if Reform hadn't been an option. Radical right are not just Tories having a bad day. Footnote 2. Independents winning electorates against Labour's weak Gaza policy was another highlight of the UK election. Labour head office persuaded lost candidates like Kate Hollern in Blackburn not to support a Gaza ceasefire or criticise Israel for its war crimes. Given that Britain's colonial history had subjugated the Palestinians, this hesitancy was remarkable. This grim history justified any British, supposedly left-of-centre party's principled condemnation of Israel's Gaza operations. Starmer wanted to erase UK Labour of its radical background. Therefore his inner circle deselected any candidates who publicly backed Palestinian rights. Some electorates punished Labour for its politically calculated Gaza atrocity response.